He was nothing to do with me at all, actually.
Stepbrother.
But my step-sister, another step-sister, she died a few years ago. She died of a brain tumour.
That's the only one I remember.
And did you have any relationship with those?
We used to see.
So what was Lily's surname?
No, we used to see Lily quite often. She used to pop down and see us, but towards when they moved away to Southend, we hardly saw her at all.
Was she simple?
She was
she wasn't simple.
She wasn't simple,
no.
but she was exactly bright.
She wasn't, you wouldn't say she was top of the class sort of thing.
She's typical sort of farm labour. She was happy.
No, she wasn't. No, you couldn't say no way was she simple.
No,
oh dear me,
no. I always liked her. I think when
she was a likeable person. There was nothing to dislike about her.
I remember her hair.
Yeah,
very lanky.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Well, that was because she had, when she was younger, she got scarlet fever, and after she got scarlet fever, she got that alopecia, where you lose all your hair, and her hair never grew properly after that. And that's why her hair was very sparse, so to speak.
I remember the house that they lived in Southend was all kind of... They lived upstairs in the flat and it was all...
No, they had the whole house.
No, did they? But they used to live upstairs anyway. The downstairs was all full of junk and everything.
I can't remember that.
Bags of those plastic toys they used to make.
No, they used to live in the whole house.
No, they didn't, dear. They had a flat upstairs in Southend and we went up the flight of stairs.
That was Lily.
I'm
sorry.
About Lily.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was thinking about my.
But she used to work in the button factory, sorting buttons, and she used to bring them home, and they used to get paid for putting them on cards. Right. You buy 6 little white pearl buttons at a card. Well, her and her stepmother used to sit there all night and all day, looking, saying there's 6 buttons on a card, and they used to get paid so much a hundred for. Or what was that other thing they used to do?
Don't ask.
Plastic things they used to make. We used to get all the plastic kits and little airplanes.
That's right.
Just to put in toys.
Then they used to deliver sackfuls of the legs of a plastic man and a sack of arms and a sack of bodies, and they used to sit there.
It was what they called homework.
Outdoor work.
When you were a kid, was your relationship good with the kids? With Lily and...
Yeah, my relationship was quite good with Lily.
It was just the mum, eh?
Yeah. Didn't really know Donald all that much because he was of the age where he got married and he went to live in Colchester. Yeah. So I didn't really know
She never got married again after Grandad died.
Up until quite recently, I still saw Donald's wife's sister. She used to live on the estate.
Oh, yeah.
She's a nice person. I used to like her. We often used to stand and chat.
And she had
what was with their mother then?
Billy.
She was just a...
And then she had that one that she adopted.
How do you mean, the mother?
Well, she
Billy
was
never
terrible,
tried to contact Auntie Kit or anything.
Well, she wasn't terrible to her own children.
Nicholas
she was only that to me, to Kit and myself.
Okay, one conversation here.
Children.
You guys, there's 2 conversations going on here. I can only do one.
An evil stepmother, like in Cinderella.
That's right. I mean, she used to... It was funny, because as an outsider, when I first met Mum, and I used to go round there, Lily'd come home Friday nights and pay her wages, and then Mum would give back Norma anything she'd paid out for. And I always remember it was...
Not Mum, they're talking about me.
No.
My stepmother.
Yeah, your stepmother. Well, I mean, Norma's mum used to give it... on their list was always this half an ounce of tobacco, right, which actually stepmother paid for, right? But to put her in a good light with her father, of her dad, right, she used to buy him this half ounce of tobacco for Friday night out of the pay. So she was the little goody, But she wasn't really buying it at all, because her mum used to, her stepmother used to give her the money.
Oh, it's all in the past now. Don't really want to talk about it. Well, we try not to talk about it at all now.
It must have affected you. I mean, it must have been...
There were lots of tragic stories about then, I would imagine, There was, after the war, lots of people must have had there must have been a lot of stepbrothers and sisters.
So, yeah.
What Grandad Dango was in the war? Oh, he was
He was in the army, he was in the cavalry part.
We have that picture of him, don't we, in the uniform, don't we?
What was he in?
He was in the Royal Fusiliers. but he was attached to the what they call it, the artillery.
Yeah.
The artillery.
Where did he fight?
He was in France, the Somme.
Yeah.
He was in the thick of the fighting out there. He used to have this book, and it was about, when you open the pages, it was about that wide. And it was all these horrible pictures that were taken at the front of the horses, and oh, it was awful. And he used to go mad if Kit and I got it, and we was looking at it. He used to go absolutely berserk.
Yeah, I remember. I think all the soldiers got them. I remember my dad had one. It was all the old brand sepia photos.
That's right, the sepia type pictures.
It
Yeah.
was a picture of like cannons going off and all the horses getting blown.
It was terrible. They loved
the
the horses, wasn't it?
Gun carriage tipping over.
This is the
My
first
dad
World
was
War
very
we're
lucky
talking
that neither him or his brothers got wounded or anything. They were very lucky, because my Uncle Lou, my Uncle Ted, my Uncle George and my dad, 4 brothers, were all in the army.
And they all came back.
And they all
which
came
is
back.
quite miraculous. Isn't it?
So they were, they were lucky, really. It's they
My dad lost, my mum lost 2 brothers in the First World War.
yeah.
Your
Nanny Kittredge, she
Nanny
lost 2
Kittredge,
brothers in
yeah.
the First World War.
She had 2 brothers. To our knowledge, we always believed.
oh, that's right, because you told me that story. You
They
didn't
were
know
Sid
that.
and Stan. That's why I was named Sid and Stan was named Stan.
Named after 2 brothers.
And what was that? Their maiden name had been Stan
Bowers.
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 Bowers, we were wondering
B-O-W-E-R-S.
Yeah.
And then Nanny Bowers we always thought anyway, as children, was a dear old soul.
Oh, they all loved it. You all loved her, didn't you?
And then,
Yeah.
but she come from Bungay in
Norfolk.
Norfolk. And then this relation, this Hilda's daughter's son, right, Hilda died of a brain tumour. Her twin daughter, she had twins, she had an 11-year gap between Leslie, Colin and Winnie. She went 11 years without any kids, and then she fell for twins. That was Daphne and Dory. Now Daphne has obviously got married. She's got 2 boys, I'm not sure she's got any girls. And one of the boys, she's been doing a very in-depth family tree. And he's found out that Nanny Bowers, that we idolised and thought was innocent,
This was
she
your...
had 14 children. So many of them were illegitimate. But we were never told anything about those children.
So Nanny Bowers was who? Your
That was
My
his grandmother.
your grandmother.
My grandmother.
That was his
She
mother's
had
mother.
14 children,
Oh,
and some of them were illegitimate. And he's delved right into it. He's got church records of where they were buried,
Oh,
how
right.
old they were when they died.
Oh, he's-
I
Actually, he
said,
managed
no,
to.
that can't be the right one. He said, yeah, it is. I had it all sussed out. She came from Bungay. She married Sam Bowers.
He managed to
You don't
do
know
all
who
this.
your great-grandmother was, eh? You don't know your great-grandmother.
No.
You know,
You don't know your great
You don't know
grandmother.
her mother.
I'm trying to think, who would that be?
You wouldn't know anybody past your
Grandmother.
Nanny Bowers, would you?
No.
But her husband was in the Chelsea Pensioners. He was a Chelsea pensioner. He I still laugh when she was telling me about the marmalade incident,
Jan.
the jam incident. Yeah.
She was so... he was religious. I don't know whether he was a Catholic or not. He used always to go to church Sunday morning, and he used to take his dog Bob, a black retriever, for a walk. And I used to live around it quite a lot. We all did it sometime or another. Either Mum was in hospital having her next baby, or I'd have to stay around with me nan, or perhaps it'd be Charlie's turn, Stan's turn, or Dorothy's turn. Dorothy lived with her for a long time. But I remember we were sitting, it was me, Edie, Nan and Grandad sitting round the table, and Grandad used to have this, storyline about all the medals he was wearing, and I don't think he'd ever been in the war. But he must have been because he got in the Chelsea Pens.
I don't think he was in the war, but we don't think he won any medals.
But they belonged to his two sons, Stan, which were Mum's brothers, Sid and Stan. They both got their war medals. And he used to have them pinned across his chest, so he had old
They had died.
They had died in the war.
And they both died in the war, got killed. Well, he's telling us the story, and it upset now, Gran. So Gran said, "Oh, shut up, Stan," she said. "Keep on about the war," she said. And with that, she's put her hand, I can see it now, she's put her whole hand in the bottle of full strawberry jam and threw it at and he was just ready to go to church. You know, he had this snow white shirt.
And all he said was, "Oh, Maria."
"Oh, Maria," he said. "What have you done?"
I still laugh when I hear
He
that
was so
story.
funny. I see it now. And we used to go and see him, and he used to sleep in his single bed in the back bedroom. And Nan and Lil used to sleep in the front room. And
I don't think they know who Lil would be.
Lil was...
Very complicated, this
Yeah.
family.
I don't really know Lil. Well, I do know. Lil was Mum's sister's child. You know, when she died, Aunt Alice, I think.
Your cousin?
Aunt Alice was Ernie's mother, Hilda's husband. So they were first cousins.
Two first cousins got married.
But they got married.
Oh, there's an interesting one.
Oh, they did that in...
They were definitely first cousins, Hilda and Ernie. Hilda was obviously my mum, my sister, my mum's daughter. And Ernie was her sister's boy. So they were first cousins, like you. And,
No, and their uncle.
yeah. But they were first cousins and they got married. Lil, her name was Hart, Lily Hart. Now I don't know, I mean Derek could tell you, or Elsie definitely would be able to tell you. Her name was Hart and she was a nurse. And I think that's where Shirley got it from, because she went right into nursing as well. So anyway, there was Lily and Gran used to sleep in the front room, and I used to sleep, if I stayed there, on a camp bed in one of the recesses.
About who...
Lily adopted a
so-
little boy, didn't she? And he became a doctor.
Oh, that's right, yeah, we never heard much
He
about
became a
it.
doctor.
Oh, that's right. Granddad used to sleep in his little single bed in the back bed. And we'd go in there to see him when he was, I don't know, he used to say he was ill, but he wasn't, you know, malingerer. And he used to get his purse out and he'd say, "Hey, Oxy, it's a farming for you." And I used to say, "Oh, thanks, Granddad." And about 10 minutes later, he'd give me a penny and he'd say, "Go and get me a quarter ounce of tobacco." Nutbag. Quarter ounce of nutbag. He said it's £1 and it's a penny farthing. He said, "Can you put that farthing to it and I'll give you the money later on." So he used to give it to you one end and take you at the other.
Another
No,
instance of Dad's family was because
You have to stay close
when they
because you
lived
won't
up
hear
in
Granddad,
Havering
otherwise
and
he
they were all
cooks
children,
chocolate.
like Dad and his brothers and sisters were all children, they used to have Aunt Mary and Uncle Wol used to go to visit.
Yeah.
And they used to think they were quite wealthy, you
We
know.
look.
And when Aunt Wol and Aunt Mary left, they used to line all the children up. And how much
Youngest
did
to the oldest.
Here we go.
they used to give you? How much?
We used to get a threepenny bit each.
Threepenny piece
One
each.
of the little tiny round silver.
Yeah.
And when they'd gone, Granddad used to go
No,
and
he'd be
take it off
standing
the
at the
all
other
of
end.
them.
He used to give us all fourpence and my dad would be standing at the other end taking it off. He said, "You'll probably want some new shoes next week."
So who's the guy that reclaimed Cammy Island?
That was my dad's
That was
brother.
your dad's granddad.
His twin brother.
You
Twin
can't sit there,
brother.
Jess.
No,
So he had a
no,
twin
no.
brother? Identical
That was
twins, or...?
Bill that was in
yeah.
Watford. No, it was...
And that's why Hilda got
dad's-
twins as well. It was passed through to the daughter. She's the only one in the family that had twins, but she had 2 twin daughters, Daphne and Doreen.
It was Dad's brother, Dad's father that reclaimed Canvey Island, and so the story goes. He brought his Dutch engineers over to dike it all and whatever. But there's a little story there that Derek said to Elsie, "Come on, Mum," he said, "we'll have a run down to see the old place at Wickford." Well, they found this lane leading down to what used to be our weekend bungalow, just a little asbestos place.
They used to go to the cottage.
There's this beautiful modern Georgia type house built on it, but it still had Florence Bungalow on the front of it.
Named after.
So Derek knocked at the door and said, "Excuse me, I asked tonight, but my nan used to live here and built the original bungalow on this plot, and it was called Florence Bungalow." So he said, "Well, we've never troubled." He said it was registered as Florence Bungalow for the address. He said, "We've never troubled to change it." So that was a little interesting. Then they decided to go from Wickford to Canvey Island, and they thought they would try to find my granddad's grave. So Derek's gone in one direction, Elsie's gone in another, and they're wandering round this grave looking at all the headstones. No, they can't find it anywhere. So Elsie's staying with her back to this grave, waiting for Derek. Derek's walked up, and she said, "We'll have to make a move." She said, "We can't find it anywhere." He said, "Look, Mum," she's turned round, and there it is.
Right behind her.
It was right in front of it. Mr. Kittredge, born so-and-so, died aged 99.
Reclaimer of Canvey Island.
He was 99?
No, yeah, 98 I think he was.
Long lived family then.
Yeah.
He'd never had a tooth out in his life. And what was the story? He'd never eaten sweets. He'd only ever eaten chocolate, milk chocolate.
But wasn't it your dad's father that threw them out when they were young? Him and his brother,
now what's
they threw
that
them
story?
out.
They threw the kids out, right?
Yeah.
My dad's mother died when he was 10.
Your dad's mother, your grandmother.
Yeah.
My dad's mother.
Yeah.
My grandmother.
Yeah.
She died when he was 10. But he was one of twins, so there was 2 boys aged 10.
Mm-hmm.
And his father disowned them, always kicked them out on the streets. And they was brought up by a family friend, Charlie Heath. Now Charlie Heath...
So he kicked them out when she died?
Yeah. And...
Just like that?
Because he got married again.
And he said...
Well, did he kick him out because he got married again, or before he got married?
I think the story was he kicked him out when he got married again.
I can't remember the
Probably
exact
the new wife didn't want them.
But
Imagine?
my dad always told us a story of when... This is rather funny actually. He was lying in bed with his twin brother, right, that had the building supplies in North Street. They was lying in bed and his dad come home, right, my granddad, from the pub drunk, and he'd bought his fish and chips. And he said, "Here boys, have some chips." So they get stuck into some chips. He'd come back up the stairs, hardly able to stand, and he said, "You bet the bloody chips now, eat the fish." And he slung the knife out. But when my dad's telling the story, he had a spoon in his hand. And when he's gone like that, the spoon's through out his hand across the room and smashed all the glass in the photo of him in his dad.
Oh my God.
Never forget it. You was there, weren't you?
Yeah.
Amazing.
We couldn't stop laughing, could we?
So when they kicked him out, they just, that's it, you're out of here?
Just live rough, yeah.
Yeah, he used to sleep under his pony and trap, but, you know...
Kicked out the 2 boys, that's all there was the 2 boys?
I don't know, I think there was another boy. But no, there was, that's right, there was 3 or 4 sisters that Elsie has located. People ring up, I think one of them's in Canada. But I don't know what her married name is. Again, Elsie might be able to tell you. But they got quite interested in each other, writing to letters backwards and forwards. But you'd have to ask Elsie what her name was. I'm sure she was only lived.
We got ice cream in the freezer, haven't we?
So they could go get an ice cream just for... Let's have a look, see where he is.
I remember this when they were children and the ice cream man came, and they used to be waiting for him.
On the chair, Jeff.
They used to be waiting for the ice cream man. Where's Lucas? Lucas is very quiet.
He went in the... I don't know, is it still running?
He is so good on his own.
No, he's better on his own.
No, they both are really. On their own, they're really nice kids. It's when they get together. Oop, that's on tape now. Yeah.
How's Lucas?
Huh? I don't know, I'm going to tell him to go.
Luke!
I love these stories.
Well, I expect you got quite a few stories of your own to tell, Elaine.
I guess, although again, you see, we regretted not getting more from my grandmother. You know, before she died. We always said we were going to, and then... Although my cousin Arlene went back to... on a trip when Bob was in office, they went to Eastern Europe, and they went to Lithuania.
Well, that was nice.
And found the village that they were from. And found the village, and then it was something, they walked out to the cemetery, and it had been all overgrown, the road was gone and everything from it.
Mom, where's my jacket?
What jacket, honey?
Coat.
What are you talking about?
You always take it.
I haven't touched your coat.
Mom, where is it? It was right up there.
Could it be right
That
there?
See, you was crying before you were hurt.
Look at this sock. He's wearing that sock.
Better hurry up.
That orange just leaking out on them cushions.
No, it's his snail
Yeah, so they found the cemetery where they were buried.
Well, they found the cemetery, and there was a couple of old, because all the Jews had left that village. You know, they'd all gone, but they found a couple of old people that remembered, because my grandmother and her mother really had the store there, like a I don't know, yeah, like some kind of little store, and. Because my grandfather went off. Actually, my grandfather went to Ireland looking for work.
Funny, no, the Irish.
Yeah, there's some family. They were involved in the linen manufacturing of linen. That's big in Ireland, right? And apparently there are some family who are in Ireland. But he came back when my grandmother, somebody was sick, and he came back. And he got sick on the way home, and he died when he got home. So my grandmother's mother, basically, and she had that, I don't know, 5 kids, something like that, on her own, and she ran the store on her own and raised them. Yeah.
Were they able to trace any of the family? Or?
Well, they went back to the cemetery and looked and you know, that kind of thing, and there was a couple of old people who remembered the family, but then they left, and then when my cousin came home sometime later, they got a letter with a picture and a card showing they'd taken pictures. The locals had cleaned up the cemetery and opened the road and put flowers by all the graves of the Jewish.
So the visit paid off.
Yeah.
Good.
So that was kind of nice.
Yeah. Another one of the stories my dad told me was, I'm not sure who it was, but I know he said his eldest brother had a piece of the material that Queen Victoria's wedding dress was made from, because they helped to make it.
Oh, really?
I'm almost sure he said his eldest brother had the piece of material. Where it is now, I haven't got a clue. But we never even saw it, and we never ever saw the piece of the wedding dress, so we wouldn't know anyway.
I think of all those times and what a different place it was. I mean, in those days, there wasn't cars. When you talk about your grandfather, there wasn't the kind of life they lived. It was totally...
It was still horse and carriages and things.
I think that, I was saying, like, my grandmother lived in Bungay. Now, the only way, I don't know, there was any railways when she was a girl.
Well,
we're going back, she would have been born in about 1830, something like
watch
that.
the clothes.
My dad was born in 1901, Mum was born in 1910. So she must have been born about 1830.
We take a picture of you, Jess.
Married, she would have been about 1850. Were there railways then, or did she come up horse and cart?
Well,
can you imagine? Those would have been long.
I should imagine.
Long trips. Hard, difficult trips. I mean, comfortable and. Can you imagine?
So. But Bungay used to be a very tiny, small village, but I should imagine it's quite a biggish place now. I mean, I would think so anyway.
10 minutes. Because English kids can never get enough ice cream.
I think we ought to go and see if Jane and Brian are there.
Yeah.
Well, have you rang?
No. Stephen, do you want to ring Jane and Brian?
Couldn't get, nobody was there.
Do you want to turn this off?
Stephen. Will you go and try?
Turn this off now? Or is that still
I rang
going?
Nicola and Adam.
Yeah.
Nicola said she's doing a lot of paperwork at the moment, but she said yes, they will come. I don't think she knew anything about it, but I'm not sure. I'm sure Jane and Brian would have told her anyway.
What is it? 01277.
Just press the recall button.
Press recall. Oh no, don't. I've phoned Adam since then. No, you'll have to start from scratch. Because I found Adam.
Okay. How?
T-shirt. One pair of shorts.
Hey, happy birthday, Murphy.
I'm getting all the bedding together, all the things for the cat.
Oh, of course.
The dog.
Oh, I know.
Water the
Bring the dogs over.
Grace, Teddy!
Uh-oh. Hey, Sweeney.
That's a good girl.
There's the birthday boy.
Yeah. Okay, Teddy, I'll help you for a little biscuit. Come on, get the Dutch biscuit.
I've never seen so many dogs in the park.
Oh, they love to play. Okay, take my doggy away. You have to be on. Can I help Teddy? Jesse, get Murphy!
You'll have to eat that first, Luke. He won't come.
Isha.
Isha. Hey, how you doing?
Okay, Lucas, what are all the dogs' names? There's a test.
Boy, he's nice.
Misha, Teddy, Murphy.
He's too fast, eh?
Sweetie.
Happy birthday!
Don't think so.
Did you bring a bag?
They're having fun.
Did you bring a bag? Don't worry, I bring lots of bags.
Forgetting.
I bring lots of bags. I have lots of bags.
They got home and there's
Chloe! Chloe! Come here. Hurry up!
No growling.
Oh, but if Cat growls, he can't say that.
Taz is a big dog. How come you are?
It must be where the cookies are. Come on, Murph.
Give our doggy one. You only found one.
He doesn't bite anymore. He probably won't
Not
eat
that
it.
much. Here, if he doesn't eat it, then just give it to me. Oh, he'll eat it. Lucas, don't take the
He's...
Don't take the cat. Sorry, Murphy, these aren't your
He looks so skinny after being in the water.
Okay,
you have to...
Can we run?
Wait,
This way, girl. This way.
Good.
Sit.
Okay, ready, smell it.
Okay, what's that? Okay, sit. Okay. Wait.
She's gonna run the wrong way.
Go, Tessie, go, Tessie, go.
There's the winner. Where's our dog? He's fallen down. Get up.
Enough of that. There you go.
He just went for the food.
Isn't the birthday boy supposed to win the race? He fell over.
He's too busy trying to get his hat
He just
off.
fell over.
Well, she's more than twice what she was when we got her, and that's 3 weeks.
Just like at the punches.
Murphy didn't even move. Murphy got slowest. No, he did.
And Murphy
He's pacing himself. He's saving it all for the next race.
He's turned that right.
Okay, this is hard. I have 2 dogs to take care of.
Is that Murphy's hat, Tessie? Tessie, come here, girl.
Yeah.
What's that? Is that Murphy's hat? Is that Murphy's hat? Yeah, it smells like Murphy. Yay. Go take it to Murphy.
Go chew it up.
That's my dog.
Oh, you left Go give it to Murphy, Tess.
No, I knew it.
Misha. Misha, off.
Where's Willa?
Misha.
Okay. I really better get going.
Sorry, Peter.
She's late. Late as usual. Did you bring the booze? Elaine?
Misha. Misha.
Did you bring the booze? It's 10 o'clock. It's 12 o'clock in Newfoundland. 12:30. So they all did show.
Oh, that was good.
You know, Elaine, should do it every Saturday at 10, eh?
Oh, look at the pup.
Did we get a picture of all the
Taz
dogs
with the
in a
bow
row?
on it.
You missed the race, eh?
I missed the what?
The race.
Oh, was there a race?
There was a dog race, Tess won. Murphy fell over on the starting block. Just couldn't sit down.
Second was...
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Who is third?
Misha, get out of there.
The videographer.
Because at the end we're going to count them up and the one with the most gets the big prize.
Daddy, you get third.
Okay, we have to go.
You get that place. You get third.
Lisa already has
Grass. Little kid.
Hey, Murph.
Okay, Tessie, come on, girl.
Biggest.
Biggest?
Mommy, take a picture of me.
I just did. Come on.
I got you one.
Yep.
No, he's bigger than Murphy.
Nah, Murphy's got the biggest, I think.
Yeah, so Murphy got the biggest. So that's why your girl.
You better give him any other awards while he's standing up, because he's going to go down again.
Okay, Sweetie gets second.
Not pleased with that result. No.
I don't win, I quit.
Hey, have the small dog, you'll win.
Yeah, I know. Okay, hurry up. We got Sweetie, Grace, and Grace. This is for Sweetie. Can you hold that for a second? He got biggest.
Hey, you like
No.
Okay.
Oh, somebody's found the bag.
Love to get into that, wouldn't you? You'd love to get into that. That's not for you.
Okay, he gets third biggest.
Third biggest?
Yeah.
But he's only a puppy.
3 weeks, 3 months old. Third biggest. Great. Excellent. Third biggest.
So what do you think he's going to win next year, Jess?
Hey, is there smallest pad? Is he that smallest?
No, you gotta get out of there, Misha.
No, yeah. But he is the smallest.
Hey, Sweeney.
No, Teddy's not. Measure.
No, what is
Okay, get a ruler. Get Murphy out of this.
But
I told you to put this.
when I'm trying to do it now, the dogs won't get in there.
Well, they just did.
They weren't. They were sniffing it.
Who won? Murphy's not gonna be.
Is that all the awards?
No.
There's more?
Yeah, 5 more.
5 more?